Watch the whole video to find all the hidden anime girls. r/ask Reddit. I saved a girl from drowning. She then sued me. Ask me anything. I am a trained swimmer and completed all classes to become a lifeguard. However, swimming never was more than a hobby for me and I chose a totally different career path. In 2007 I saved a girl from drowning. For those of you unexperienced with seashores and beaches, the sea will always push you back to the shore unless you are further than a given point. After this given point, the strong current will either push you deeper into the sea or keep you where you are. You can't just float back to the shore. You will drown for exhaustion. In 2007 I was at the beach with a few friends when I noticed a girl way too far from the shore. By too far, I mean way too far. At least twice as far as any other person. Her gestures were clear. She was drowning, barely keeping her head above water. I turned around. No lifeguard. I later learned the man chose to take a break and was at the bathroom. To make this clear, she was getting further and further from the shore by the second. I'm a good swimmer. I raced to her, then carried her on my back to the shore, keeping her above water. She had already swallowed a lot of water. I risked my own life because my weight with hers could have been too much, but I made it. The lady later sued me. Now, I learned later that she had to spend 3 days at the hospitals. Couldn't afford it. Tried to sue the beach owners but her case was rejected. But she still sued me. Her case? I should have saved her earlier. I had been careless, not carrying her to the shore fast enough, and should have let the lifeguard do his job. Yes, you read that right. I had injured her. She was in pain. She wouldn't have swallowed as much water, if that makes any sense. etc etc. I had the case thrown out by a judge, but still had to hire a lawyer, and to suffer the humiliation. It was an unnecessary stress. I felt disgusted and betrayed. Ask me anything. Edit. Thanks for the great questions. I'm off for the night. I will answer in the morning. You should send her Christmas cards every year. Just like the sweetest, happiest, passive-aggressive Christmas card you can muster. Maybe a picture of you down at the beach with a Santa hat or something. With a nice little "just thankful we're both alive to celebrate another Christmas. I wish you a safer and prosperous new year. P.S. Be careful when swimming next summer." That's a great idea and it would possibly even work. But I really don't want to have anything to do with this woman. My god. That would be a horrible yet strangely appropriate way to troll the shit out of someone. Right? I try to think what would make her feel like shit. At first I thought digging her house would do the trick. But then I thought how she should have to remember for the rest of her life that the only reason she's still on this planet is cause one guy, who is nice enough to send her a Christmas card every year, dragged her unworthy corpse out of the ocean. I try to think what would make her feel like shit. I can't imagine that anything would make a person who sued the person who saved their life feel bad about themselves. Haha, good point. Duck it. Let's just dig her house. I'll shit in her mailbox. And I'll fill it with wet cement, so the poop will be there forever. Teamwork is less than high five is greater than. This somehow evoked an image of two generic Redditors Eiffel towering a standard metal mailbox. Fap. I think that drowning her in niceties is a great idea. It's what I'd do. Totally. You could even wave to her every time you see her, just to keep the memories current. She might get all choked up at nice gesture. She might even swallow her pride and apologize. Alright guys, this is going a little overboard. Yeah, can we give this thread some room to breathe? We ought not to get swept away here. I don't know, we may be in too deep already. You sure are. I see what you did there. That's awful. I nearly drowned at Virginia Beach when I was 13 or 14. An off-duty firefighter saved my life. It would have never occurred to me to be anything less than eternally grateful. Okay, a question. How can a beach have an owner? It's not like an acre in a subdivision you just drop a house on. Also, did this put you off helping people in the future? How can a beach have an owner? The city. Also, did this put you off helping people in the future? No, not really. Well, I didn't really get another such occasion, but I would do it again. Duck medical bills. If you ever save my life, I'll give you $3,500. I am really glad you would do it again. Not all people would assault you for money after saving their lives. Most of us would thank you, remember you, and cherish you. The lawsuit really wasn't about you. You know that, right? Doing the right thing in a litigious nation must be difficult, just as doing the right thing in a violent neighborhood cannot always be easy. This I know. In all the accident scenes, disturbing altercations that have happened to me or around me, one thing remained constant: my ability to remain human in the face of others' ferocity. If you ever get the chance to help someone again, please jump in with both shoes and know that you are doing the right thing. How much did you have to pay for the lawyer and other legal fees? How much time did the ordeal take up? I paid around $3,500, but I had to hire another lawyer. The first lawyer recommended me to accept a deal with the defendant, citing that legal fees alone would be more than the deal. She sued for $150,000, but lawyer offered to settle for $20,000, which was her medical bill, her legal fee and lost wages. I immediately refused and fired the lawyer. I had already given him a $800 deposit. He worked a grand total of 3 hours, maximum, on my case. This took around 3-4 months to settle. We filed a motion to dismiss and it was granted. Doesn't the plaintiff have to cover your legal expenses as well as punitive damages for wasting your time? That's the ultimate irony. I could have sued her for frivolous lawsuit for my legal fee, but there was no guarantee I would win. Even if I won, there was no guarantee she would pay me. If I lose, I would have even more legal fees to pay. Since you spent $3,500, I would imagine it would be something that could be taken to small claims, $5,000 or less. Small claims works differently than regular court. Lawyers can be involved, but often aren't. You and the defendant go before a judge and you explain your case. You argue about it and the judge makes a decision. There is a lot less BS involved. That's how I understand it. At least, I, myself, have never gone to small claims. Judge Judy time. JJ pays the winnings from its budget. So if he went to Judge Judy, he will get the money, no matter the girl is broke. Actually, this isn't a bad idea. A markup, duck yet. You mean being a lawyer? Duck yet. No matter the outcome, lawyers always win. Something like this happened to my uncle. As an off-duty fireman, he saw a car with 2 girls in their 20s go off a bridge into an orchard. By the time he got to the car, he saw that the girl in the passenger seat was dead. The car was on fire, and he suffered burns getting the girl out of the driver's seat. The surviving girl then sued him because she said he hurt her back and won. So what's the lesson here? Next time, let him burn. Awesome job there, judge. I sometimes cannot comprehend how judges actually hear these cases. Disclaimer: I have limited knowledge in law. I do have a bit of common sense, but that comes and goes. I have limited knowledge in law. I do have a bit of common sense, but that comes and goes. Sounds exactly what an average judge would say. Victim probably had a better lawyer. Judge was prejudiced, whether intentionally or unintentionally. Civil courts sometimes focus too heavily on little technicalities in law, while relevant facts such as, "I saved that bleacher's life," are neglected by the judge. I'm sure you know all of this, but you'd be surprised by how much of a difference these little things make in the legal system. Similar story: my brother-in-law saved an old man whose airway was blocked with a McJavid tracheotomy. He lost his job as a paramedic because of the subsequent lawsuit. That hideous scar on his neck was uber traumatic compared to his imminent death. God, I hate the American justice system. Honestly, I'd be stoked to get a hideous scar across my neck as a reminder that someone saved my life with an impromptu tracheotomy. I would be honored to wear that badge. I was saved by a random guy when I was drowning at age 15. He could have easily drowned with me, but instead did what you did and carried me out of the river and safely to shore before an ambulance even got there. 6 years later I still think about it, and I never got to give him simple thank you because I was in shock and being seen by paramedics. I would give anything to find this guy. I want you to know that what you did was amazing and you deserve nothing but honor for it. See, if you don't stick around, you can't get sued. My grandfather pulled a man out of a burning car and immediately left after the ambulance arrived for precisely that reason. You should have got the media involved and had her publicly humiliated. Agreed. I'd have been tempted as soon as the summons came to call a local TV station and ask them to do a report on it. to see if you could embarrass her enough so that she dropped the lawsuit. Whilst I don't agree with her suing anyone, surely she would have had more of a case against the city, since there wasn't a lifeguard around. That's the most laughable case I've ever heard. If I was a judge, I'd order her to be drowned. Off with her lungs. I read about a case in Iran where a guy threw acid on a girl's face and blinded her. The judge ordered that the attacker also be blinded with acid. What an evil dunt. Good job for saving someone's life, even if they didn't deserve it. Amongst her charge was that I injured her while giving her CPR, as opposed to not giving her CPR maybe? You gave her CPR? Yes. Which might be part of the reason she sued me actually. I'm black. She was white, and not too appreciative of minorities or so I've heard. What an stupid a-hole of a woman. Thank you for being the good guy, man. Aren't there good Samaritan laws that protect against you getting sued if you hurt someone while trying to save them? Like pulling someone from a burning car only to worsen an injury or giving someone CPR after they almost drowned? Good question. I came to ask the same thing. Under the Good Samaritan laws which grant immunity, if the Good Samaritan makes an error while rendering emergency medical care, he or she cannot be held legally liable for damages in court. However, two conditions usually must be met. 1. The aid must be given at the scene of the emergency, and 2. If the volunteer has other motives, such as the hope of being paid a fee or reward, then the law will not apply. Source: I hereby order you to change your name to Laranger. Duck your shitty lawyer, go for the 20k plea deal. What a shitty lawyer. Unfortunately, that's the sort of number that could actually be cheaper than litigation. People who sue use that tactic all the time, especially the RIAA. We're going to rape you for $1 bazillion in levies and lawyers' fees, but we'll settle with you right now for a cool $5,000. The trick is to make the settlement offer comparable to what it would cost to defend yourself in court. So, his lawyer may not have been shitty so much as he or she was simply being practical. Comment what the best or worst story was. Also remember to subscribe for more Reddit and Anime Girls.